So today with Lascal, I'm going to talk to you about two product categories. One, in case you hadn't guessed it, is baby carriers, and the other is rider boards, stroller rider boards. But first, let's talk about the M1 carrier. First of all, it's a great registry item. Second, I want to let you know that Regal Lager has a long history in the carrier business. We actually kind of cut our teeth in this industry with a large baby carrier brand that we worked with for about 14 years. Bottom line is we know baby carriers. So when Lascal came to us and asked if we'd like to help them develop the M1 carrier, we were all in. We thought this would be a great idea because we took everything that we knew and had learned and we incorporated it into this carrier. Okay, so there are tons of carriers on the market. If you've done any research by now, you're probably pulling your hair out. What kind do I want? There are so many of them out there. And that really is a personal choice. I'm not going to tell you what's better or worse than the others. That's up to you. Many parents have different styles of carriers that they use. We did when our kids were little, 20 plus years ago. We had two different styles of carriers. But the Lascal M1, this is what we call a structured carrier, as opposed to just sort of a piece of fabric that you're using and wrapping in different ways. Those are also great carriers, but this is just a different style. This is a structured carrier. Okay, and baby wearing. Baby wearing in general is an amazing thing. I can't encourage you enough to wear your kids. It's great for the babies. It's great bonding with your children. I know that was one of the main reasons I wanted to carry our kids, was I wanted that bonding time with my kids. It calms them down. I actually read a study that said walking with your baby in a carrier is like the best way of any kind of rhythmic motion to calm your baby down. So there's numerous reasons for carrying your baby. One of the things we used to hear the most when we were in the carrier business years ago was, it saved my life. It gave me my hands back. And any good carrier should do that. I'm always concerned when I see, even in some companies' marketing materials, where they've got a hand on the carrier or on the baby. It's like, is the baby not secure in the carrier? Because I feel that the baby should be secure in the carrier, and it does give you your hands back. Okay, so when Lascal was developing the M1, the things that we focused most on were comfort for the wearer, comfort for the baby, and the proper position for the baby. And really, if you've got the baby in the proper position, they're going to be comfortable. So let's talk about me first, the wearer. And by the way, in the essence of time, I've already got my carrier on because I've got a lot to cover here in 20 minutes. So sorry you didn't get to see the whole presentation, but this is just for time's sake. So for me, the carrier has nice, wide, padded shoulder straps. So it's going to be comfortable up here. It's got a nice, wide, padded waist belt. It's also got a nice back support back here. And I'm going to pause just a second and tell you about this back support because it's actually completely removable. So if I were a real skinny person and didn't need all this extra strap, which I do, I could use this without this back support in. Because that was one of the things that we used to hear comments from, was really petite moms. They had a hard time getting the carrier to fit snugly on their body. They'd have it as tight as the carrier would go, but they still couldn't get it tight enough. Whereas this one, whether you're a tiny petite parent or a larger parent, this is going to fit you. And we have a perfect example right in our own company. One of our marketing people is like 5 foot nothing, and her husband is 6'4", and we have lots of great pictures of the two of them wearing the same carrier with kids in them. So it's great for that. Okay, now more on the fabric. The fabric is what we call a 3D breathable fabric. And what does that mean? Well, I'm going to come in a little closer to the camera. The fabric actually has 3 dimensions. It's a 3D fabric as opposed to like a flat, just a shirt fabric. And that means it's going to be comfortable, but it also means it's going to be breathable. Remember, when you're wearing a baby carrier, you've basically got a little 100-degree heater strapped to your body. So it's going to be really warm. So the fact that the fabric is breathable means it's going to be more comfortable for you and more comfortable for the baby. Okay? So those are some of the features, the comfort features for me as the wearer. Now let's talk about the baby. Okay, one of the most important things is that the baby is in the carrier in the proper position. And what is the proper position? It's great hip support. It's great what we call hip to knee support actually. And having their butt down nice and low in the carrier with their legs supported. And I'm going to actually put my doll in the carrier so that you can see exactly what that means. Now when I put a baby in the carrier, I like to put them up here like I'm burping them. And I take my hand and put it through the leg opening, and I like to guide them into the carrier because babies are like little blobs of goo. They just don't stuff very well. So I like to guide them into the carrier. And then I'm going to put his other leg in here. I'm still supporting the baby. Now I do this buckle up. Ooh, notice how easy that buckle was. This is a patented buckle design. All you have to do is depress the gray section in the middle, and that connects on there nice and easily. And I'm going to do the same. Oh, I already got this one buckled up. So now my baby is sitting in the carrier, and now I'm going to snug the straps up. So first I'm going to get that waist belt. Ooh, nice. Now I'm going to lift up on the baby's butt, and I'm going to pull down on my shoulder straps. But notice the direction I'm pulling the shoulder straps. I'm pulling them forward because this is a natural motion as opposed to pulling backwards. Yeah, some carriers you have to do that, and it's not easy. So these we designed to be all that they pull forward nice and easily. When I want to release, I just depress the buckles, and the weight of the baby actually pulls the carrier down. So anyway, my baby is now in here nice and secure, and you may be looking at this thinking it doesn't look like the baby sitting in the carrier. Well, that's actually because the baby is using our infant insert. You want the baby in the infant insert, which comes pre-installed in the carrier, when they're between 8 and 12 pounds. The overall range for the M1 carrier is 8 to 33 pounds. But for an infant, when they're facing you like this, in the infant insert, 8 to 12 pounds. And notice how there's nice fabric out here. It's got great, that hip to knee support I was talking about. And the baby's butt is down. And let me show you the infant insert. This is an infant insert removed from a carrier. And you see it's got a little pocket here. And that's really where the baby's butt goes to get their rear end down and their thighs up. And great padding all around here so that they're nice and comfortable. This M position I keep talking about is the approved position that the International Hip Dysplasia Institute wants babies in when they're in a baby carrier because that's the best position for their developing hips. So the M1 carrier is not only an IHDI acknowledged carrier as a hip-friendly product, but Regal Auger, we are also research partners with IHDI, which means we get to share information, we get to help them, they can help us, and we can learn the best things for baby's hip development. And just to show you a little bit closer, this little diagram shows you what that M seating position looks like. Okay? So my baby's in here, 12, 13 pounds. I'm going to unzip that infant insert, and then they're going to sit down here in the bottom part of the carrier. And you can still see how that leg support is going to be all the way out here. Nice soft padding out here, no seams to cut off their circulation, no dangling legs. They're still sitting in that carrier. Now, a lot of carriers that are great for when the baby is facing you, the challenge is now when they face forward, right? Because around 6, 8 months, somewhere in there, the baby develops really good head support and you can face them forward. And babies love to be facing forward because if you think about it, if I'm talking with you now, we're having a conversation and the baby thinks they're in the conversation. They think it's all about them and they love that. So we want our babies to face forward, but not until they have great, strong head support and neck control. But when they face forward, we still want them sitting in the carrier with good support, and that's the tricky part. Well, what Lascal did with the M1 is we developed what's called the hip zip system. And it's really hard for me to show you here, but I'm moving 2 zippers in, and that's going to allow the legs to come forward. So if we look at my doll over here, you can see I've unzipped the hip zips underneath. This doll is facing forward, great hip to knee support, and the baby's still sitting in the carrier and going to be comfortable. Okay? You can also wear the Lascal M1 on your back. So the 3 carry positions are facing you, facing out, and on the back. 3 important and basic positions. Now let's talk about a couple other features before we move on to our next product. The M1 carrier also has, you can see, great head support, but you can also see that I can fold this up and give them a little bit of extra support. What if I'm out and the weather's crappy like it is today? A little stormy, I need a little cover. I can just pull this up And this snaps up on the straps, give me some cover from wind, sun, maybe the paparazzi are out. My baby's so cute, everybody wants to film it. And that just tucks back in there. Now, I did mention how nice and high the baby's riding on me. Sometimes I see people wearing carriers when I'm out at these events, and it's so sad. They're wearing the baby so low, the straps on their back are up really high on their neck, and it's just not comfortable. You want the baby nice and high on your body, and what the Baby Carrier Industry Alliance likes to say is they want that baby visible and kissable. So I can see the baby's face, I can see that they've got a clear airway, and I can kiss the top of the baby's head. That's how we know this baby is in a great position and it's going to be comfortable for you. And I did mention this back strap back here. This slides up and down the straps, so it's going to be comfortable whether you're a shorter torsoed person or a taller torsoed person. And then you may be also saying to yourself, Jeff, that carrier, it looks amazingly clean. Well, that's part of the clean look is what we call our strap tidies. That's because, again, some carriers, when you get it on your body and it's all snugged up, you've got carrier straps loose and dangly all over the place. With the M1, we designed in strap tidies, so you just roll up the excess strap. It has a little elastic on the end, and it allows the carrier to look nice and neat on you, and there's nothing getting in your way. Particularly important for petite parents. That's where they tend to have lots of extra strap. Okay, so that's really what the M1 is all about. Comfort for the wearer, comfort for the baby, and a great proper position for the baby for good hip support. We talked a little bit, oh yes, of course you saw with the baby facing forward that you can fold this flap down for that forward facing position, which they love. Okay, that's the Lascal M1. Now we're going to do a special segment for all you parents that are out there, not first-time parents, but expecting your second or third or fourth. Yes, please, keep them coming. My children are in college. I need your support. Thank you very much. But if you have multiple kids, once you have that second one coming along, now you've got your stroller that you love, but it's like, now what do? I need a stroller for two. Well, your solutions are you could buy a great big long stroller, you could buy a wide side-by-side stroller, or with the stroller you love and already have, you could buy the BuggyBoard ride-on board. What this does is this will simply attach to the back of your stroller and let the toddler ride on this board while your new baby rides in the stroller. And you'll notice this arm is going up and down. That's because it's extremely flexible. You can attach the board to over 95% of all the strollers on the market. And it's super easy to do because the Lascal Buggy Board comes with what we call our universal connector. And this just has a strap that wraps around the frame of your stroller and your Buggy Board clicks in and out of it. So no matter what stroller you're using, almost all of them, you can secure a Buggy Board onto. So now you've got your stroller, your board is attached, your toddler's riding on behind, you've got your stroller you love, you don't have to buy a different stroller. And here's the other thing that makes the Buggy Board great. Most parents, especially if you're having your second kid, you have more than one stroller. You have at least two, if not 3 or 4. Studies I've seen have shown parents have over 3 strollers. I think it's somewhere between 2 and 3. But anyway, you slice it, you got more than one. With the Buggy Board, every Buggy Board comes, of course, with a set of connectors, but you can buy the connectors separately. So now you can put a set of connectors on both of your strollers, and whichever stroller you take, you can secure your Buggy Board to it. So, and it's important because like a lot of companies, they make their own rider boards for their strollers, but the problem is that only works on that stroller. So if you've got multiple strollers, you may have just spent $125 and you can only use it on that one stroller. You can't use it on your second stroller that may be a different, maybe from the same brand, it may be a different brand. You can't use it. So with a Buggy Board, you can. It gives you that flexibility. It's a universal board. Okay, other things about the Buggy Board. It rides nice and high up off the ground, so your feet are going to go underneath it as you're walking behind it. I've seen parents pushing strollers down the street with a stroller's own rider board on it, and they're walking to the side because they can't stand behind it because they keep kicking the board. because some companies use little tiny, almost like skateboard wheels on their boards, and it just doesn't give you any clearance to get your feet underneath it. Other things that are important, it's dual wheels as opposed to a single wheel. A single wheel rider board can be very challenging when you go to back it up. It can be balance issues. This is also a nice wide board. It's got defined sides so your child knows where the board is. It's got a textured surface so their feet are going to be secure. It's got great suspension out here on the side, so it's going to be good over any rough terrain. And again, it's universal. You can adjust the arms in, out, up, down to fit lots of strollers. So what could make this better? Well, what if we had another offering called the Buggy Board Mini? This is basically the same. You're probably saying, Jeff, it looks the same, only smaller. You'd be right. That's what it is. It is the same, only smaller. So why would we have a smaller version? How about some of those smaller strollers that the Buggy Board Maxi won't get small enough to fit? That's a great reason for the Buggy Board Mini. So in terms of features and benefits, it's very similar to the Buggy Board Maxi. It just will fit some smaller strollers that the Buggy Board Maxi won't. And in reverse, the Buggy Board Maxi actually fits on some bigger strollers that the Buggy Board Mini will not. So how do I know if the Buggy Board will work on my stroller? Great question. Here's your answer. Go to buggyboard.info. Buggyboard.info. That is a website where there are over 500 strollers that have been tested to see if they work with the Buggy Boards. You just put in your stroller manufacturer and your make, and if it comes up, it'll say whether it's been tested and it works, and if it does, we show pictures of your stroller with the Buggy Board attached. We tell you exactly where to put the connectors, how to mount it, what cotter pin holes to use, and there are installation videos as well, so that's a great resource. Not every stroller is there, but there are certainly a lot. As I say, over 500. What could make this even better? How could it be better? I can't say, but wait, there's more, but there's more. You could have the Buggy Board Maxi Plus. And the Buggy Board Maxi Plus has the addition of the saddle. The saddle gives your child a place to sit if they want to sit, if they get tired. Or you can just fold it down. Now they can stand and ride on the board. You know how toddlers are. They're going to change their mind over and over and over. They want to sit, they want to stand. Super easy to just go with them as they change their minds. By the way, we talked about the connectors, and the connectors, the board just pops on and off of the strollers, super easy. So when you want to fold your stroller, you pop your Buggy Board off, fold the stroller, the connectors stay on there, super easy to use. As a matter of fact, we happen to have a nice stroller right here with a Buggy Board attached, and you can see that as I'm going to walk, my feet are going to go right underneath that board. It's nice and stable, backing it up is not a problem, super easy to use, easy to attach. And if you had any questions, you can always contact our customer service department where we have Buggy Board experts just waiting to help you out. So that's all I've got for you today, folks. Hope you enjoyed this segment. Hope you got some great information out of it. Buggy Boards, awesome product. Lascal M1 carrier. You saw how easy, look at, I completely forgot I had it on. My baby's so comfortable, so quiet and well behaved, even though I'm screaming over it. Thanks for being here, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the Virtual Prego Expo. I'm Jeff Durkee.